Hello everybody, today we are going to be doing the Skylanders timeline. Now this is my personal opinion, this is not canon, but this is my personal belief. First off, we have The Legend of Spyro, every game that falls into this continuity until Skylander starts, because I believe this is where the Skylander timeline begins. Next in the timeline, I believe Skylanders Academy would fall into here. Not only do we see Spyro become a Skylander for the first time, but we also see everyone else become a Skylander. I don't think the show is canon, but I did want to add it to the timeline just in case it was. Up next, we have the book series, The Mask of Power. Now, these were a collection of books that I'm pretty sure take place before the Skylander games. Not only are the Skylanders inside the universe itself and not toys yet, but it's also a very, very good prequel to the actual games. Fun fact, I actually own this book, although the cover is a little bit damaged. But yeah, it was a fun read. Now, the beginning of our game timeline starts with Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. This was the first Skylanders game ever released, and this is one of the earliest games. In this game, Chaos blows up the core of light and sends every Skylander to Earth. So, yeah, he also gets sent to the Earth at the end of the game, and he actually gets sent to Africa, I think it was. So, yeah. Next up in the Skylanders timeline is the 3DS games. We know this game takes place after Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, not only because Eon is a ghost in this game, but they're also still toys, so, yeah. Next up, we have Skylanders Giants. Not only is Skylanders Giants a game that takes place after Spyro's Adventure, but we also do get to see Chaos, who is on Earth now, which was shown at the end of Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. So yeah, we also get to see the Giants for the first time, which were very powerful characters. This was also the first game that gave us the Light Core characters. Next up on the timeline, we have Skylanders Giants for the Nintendo 3DS. Now, these games are different. There is a difference between the 3DS games and the normal games. It's not like how on Xbox and PlayStation, they're mostly the same game. But I believe this game takes place after the story as well, because Chaos is doing something else, and we have the pirate character villain instead. I just think that every 3DS game takes place after the original games, but if you don't believe this, please explain why in the comments. But next game is... Next up, we have Skylander Swap Force. Now, it is told to us 100 years ago, before the timeline actually starts, that the Swap Force were sent to Earth. So that would be in 1913, because that's 100 years before Swap Force came out. Now, we know this game takes place after Giants because of the fact that there is Chaos's mom, who was shown in the last chapter of Skylanders Giants for the ending cutscene. And also, so far, we've had every game be in release order, so that's pretty cool. Next up, we have Skylander Swap Force for the Nintendo 3DS. Now, this game's actually pretty interesting, because we know it has to take place before Superchargers, because of the fact that there is Captain Moneybones, I think his name was, which was in Superchargers. Also, I'm pretty sure the pirate guy from Skylanders Giants for the Nintendo 3DS also appears in Trap Team, so that's why that game takes place before Trap Team. I forgot to add that for the Giants part, but yeah. Next up are the Skylander Trap Team books. Now, these, like the one I just showed on screen, the Chaos Trap, explores the Skylanders timeline before Trap Team begins, and also shows us the minis, who were first playable characters in this game. So that's why I believe this has to take place before Trap Team. Skylanders Trap Team is next because of the fact that there is the NPCs from Skylanders Swap Force that appear inside this game, along with the NPCs from the games beforehand, and they all know each other, and that wouldn't happen if they didn't know each other, because Flynn doesn't know who most of the NPCs are in Swap Force, but he does know who they are in Trap Team. So that's why I believe this has to take place after the original 3 games. Skylanders Trap Team for the Nintendo 3DS is next. This game is... I believe this game takes place after every other game, not only because of the NPCs in it, but also it is a 3DS game, and as I have said before, I believe that the 3DS games do take place after the mainline games. Next up are the Skylanders Supercharger comic books. Not only do they explain the story beforehand of Superchargers, but the one I have on screen right now also shows how Donkey Kong and Bowser got into Skylands, which explains why they are in Superchargers. So that's why these must take place before Superchargers. Next up is Skylanders Superchargers. Not only do the traps work in this game, but I also believe this takes place after Superchargers because of the fact that, again, every NPC knows each other, and that is shown in this. And there was a comic book that showed that this game did lead it from Trap Team. So that's why I believe this takes place after that. Next up is Skylander Superchargers Racing. Now, as I've said before, I believe all the 3DS games take place after the mainline games, but also all the good guys are working on your side and not with Chaos, so they can't take place before Trap Team. And since they are since they're not trying to fight Chaos, and Chaos is a playable character in this game, that means that it has to take place after, because Chaos got rid of the darkness in his heart. Skylanders Imaginators is next in the timeline. Not only does this game take place after Superchargers and Trap Team because of the fact that every character is a good guy in this game. All the villains, you can play as the villains from the game, and they are good. But this is the last time we actually defeat Chaos. Now, I know some of you want to say that Superchargers has to take place after Imaginators because that's when Chaos defeated the darkness. But as I said earlier, there was that comic book that did show that Trap Team did connect to Superchargers. So unfortunately, that disproves the theory, and that means that Imaginators has to take place after Superchargers. Ring of Heroes is after Imaginators. Not only is this the most recent Skylanders game, but also it has all the characters in it, which means it has to take place after Imaginators because that's when all the characters get introduced. Now, I know this is the last mainline Skylanders game we ever got, but there are 2 more games that actually come after this in the timeline, and I'm about to show them to you right now. Crash 4 is up next. Now, we know that the Crash Bandicoot games do take place in Skylands, not only due to the fact that Crash is playable in Imaginators, but he is also in the Skylanders TV show. So that means that this game probably takes place after the original Crash games, which had their own trilogy, and we also know that he's in the Spyro timeline due to those Game Boy Advance games, but I believe this game would have to take place after the Skylanders timeline. Also, people found 3 different unreleased Skylanders inside the source code of this game, so that does imply that this was going to be Skylander 7. In this game, you can talk to Spyro, and he does mention the last time that he was seen was in Skylands. Now, I know this isn't really in timeline order, but I thought I would add it here just to be safe. Now, I know this isn't technically in a timeline, but also the Skylanders U2s that we are going to get next year, I want to add them here as well. Now, at the time of me recording this, there are no Skylanders games that come after Ring of Heroes. I'm currently recording this on November 9th, 2024, and if there are any future Skylander games, they would probably go around here in the timeline. That's it for the video. Make sure you guys subscribe. Have a good day. Bye.